Hello everybody, back again with another video. Hope you're doing well. Hope your life's going well. Hope this week has gone well for you, and I hope that today has gone well for you. Today is Saturday, November the 30th, 2024. It is about 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time, and I hope that you all are having a wonderful weekend. I hope that you all have fun plans in place. Hope that you make it a productive weekend as well. As for me, myself, I'm doing pretty good. Here at a local park here, I came out in nature again. Favorite place to make videos, and decided, you know what, make another video out here. And so yeah. But let me get straight into what I want to talk about. What you have to understand is that in life, perception is reality. Perception is reality, right? The way that someone perceives you is ultimately going to be their reality. Even if that perception is not based on factual information. Case in point, look at how I'm dressed. I have a suit and tie on. I dress this way for a reason, just to further make my point. I'm not rich. I'm not super wealthy. I'm just a regular person. But if you saw someone dressed the way that I'm dressed, suit and tie, looking all professional, some may assume that person is rich, that person is wealthy, that person is successful, not knowing that I'm just a regular person. It could be somebody else that's dressed this way, suit and tie, right? Looking all nice, neat, professional. That person might be homeless, right? That person might be homeless and they used up the small amount of money that they were able to save up in order to buy the suit and tie so that they can go on a job interview, right? And when that person gets to the job interview, they're going to present themselves as a person that is, professional. Nice, neat, professional. That interviewer does not know that they use the last of their savings to rent that suit and tie in order to wear that suit to the job interview. So that interviewer might perceive them as, okay, this person is doing okay, but ultimately they may not be doing okay, and they really need that job. You see, perception, the way someone perceives you, ultimately becomes reality, right? And it isn't really until you're actually able to talk to that person and let them know what is true that their perception changes, right? So if someone thinks that I'm rich and successful and I have money or whatever, when I go up to them and I talk to them or whatever, or they talk to me or whatever, however, like the conversation forms or whatever, if I was able to let them know, like, I'm just a regular person, then, and only then, their perception of me will change. Then they'll have the knowledge, right, to where their perception is going to change. It's going to be different, right? And so that's why, based on how you dress out in public, the way that you dress in public is the way you're going to be treated in public. If I wear this out in public, I'm going to get treated differently versus, say, I'm wearing like a t-shirt and a gold chain and just however other way you dress, you're gonna get treated differently, right? And that's just reality. And I know it's not right, because in reality, we really should not judge a book by its cover. So, of course, it's not right. But I'm just telling you that that's how reality works. That's how people are. They're going to perceive you based on the way that you look. And again, it's not until that person gives you the facts, the reality of their situation, that your perception of them will change, right? It's kind of funny. I was driving on the freeway, actually getting here, and I saw a cop on the shoulder of the freeway. I guess they were looking for speeders, people speeding. They'll stop them. Now, the thought popped up in my head, what if I got stopped by the police, right? And I rolled down my window. Cop comes up to my window, and he sees that I'm dressed like this. Suit and tie on, looking all nice, neat, and professional. What if that cop saw that? The perception of that cop is going to have is that, okay, this is a professional person, right? And you just never know the way that you might get treated just based on how you look, right? That cop is more than likely going to treat you differently versus if you're dressed another way, right? Perception is reality. I was kind of thinking about that. I said, wow. If I would have got stopped. Because it was interesting too, because they were kind of parked in a way to where you couldn't really see the cop on the shoulder until you got over the over the overpass. And I guess they park like that so that you can't necessarily see them, and you'll be caught like off guard by them. And you know, it's interesting. But I wasn't speeding, so I wasn't really worried about them stopping me. But if that was to happen, when I roll my window down and they come up to my car, they're gonna see I'm dressed like this, right? They're gonna see that I have a suit and tie on. Now, if I was dressed differently, you never know. They might not necessarily treat me differently either, but in their mind, their perception of me is going to be different. Maybe it's a cop that treats everyone the same, but their perception in their mind is going to be different. And I'm not even just talking about a cop. I mean, this is people in general, right? You go into a courtroom, right? You go to, court for whatever reason, whether it's civil court, criminal court, traffic court. If you go in there dressed like this, suit and tie, professional, they're going to perceive that you actually care about, what's going on. If you go in there with a t-shirt and shorts, they're going to perceive in their mind, just based on how you look. Remember, perception is reality. They're going to perceive that you don't really care about what's going on. You don't really care about the setting. I mean, you're in court, right? This goes for job interviews as well. You go on a job interview and you have a t-shirt and shorts on, they're going to assume, okay, you don't care. Even if you're the best interviewer out there, you come in there with a t-shirt and some shorts on, you're more than likely not going to get hired, because they're going to assume, based on the way they perceive you and the way that you're dressed, the way that they see you look, they're going to assume that you don't really care about the setting, right? Their perception is going to be different versus if you went in there with a suit and tie on. And it doesn't matter what your qualifications were. You could be way more qualified than any other candidate. But in reality, the fact is, their perception is reality, right? And in a job interview setting, you can change their perception based on how you talk, based on them reading over your qualifications, and that perception can change, but it's that perception that matters, right? Even if you change their perception, you came in there dressed a certain way. They're going to assume, based on that, you don't care enough. So you have to understand. You go out in any public place, really, dressed like this, many times people are going to perceive you differently. I go into a grocery store dressed like this, you're going to get perceived differently, right? You go into a restaurant dressed like this, you're gonna get perceived differently. Suit and tie on, looking nice, neat, professional, right? Perception is reality. I look rich to some people, but I'm not. I look like I'm professional. I look like I'm wealthy. What if I'm neither of those things? And I can tell you I'm not rich and I'm not wealthy. I'm just a regular person. I would like to describe myself as professional. That's the one thing that they were right about when it comes to their perception of me. I try to be professional. I try to be polite, right? So that's what you have to understand. Now, the interesting thing about this is that you do have to be careful when it comes to perceptions, because when it comes to perceiving someone as successful, rich, wealthy, when you get online on these social media platforms and you see somebody that's dressed like this, and in addition to being dressed like this, they're driving a fancy car, say they're driving around a BMW or, some sort of exotic sports car. They have this huge mansion or whatever that they're showing off. You have to be careful, because you could sit there and think that that person's a professional, and I mean, not that they're professional. You could sit there and think that that person is rich and is wealthy. Now, here's what happens sometimes. You see people online trying to sell you a course or a class or whatever on how to get rich, how to obtain wealth. Meanwhile, that car that they were driving around is a rented car. That exotic sports car, that's a rental. That house that they were renting, that's an Airbnb. But you fell for the persona that they put on. Your perception of them was that they were rich and successful. Now it's easy for them to sell you some sort of course or some sort of class or whatever on how to get rich, how to obtain wealth. By the way, a lot of information on how to obtain wealth in life you can get for free online, YouTube. You don't have to pay for some course for something like that, FYI. But I'm just saying that the perception of someone being rich and successful and wealthy, that can be used to someone's advantage. Just letting you know that as well. Just be careful, right? Be careful, because you don't know what some of these people online are actually making. Just because they have a nice suit on like this, just because you see them driving around in a nice car, or they live in some fancy home, that doesn't really mean anything. And even if all that stuff is stuff that they actually own, you don't know how they got that money in order to afford those things. So I'm just letting you know, just be careful online, right? And this goes hand in hand with perception being reality. Your perception is that they're successful, right? And that maybe they have the secrets in order to be rich and wealthy and successful. On the flip side of that, somebody could have, a old dirty t-shirt on with some old dirty tennis shoes on, but you wouldn't know that that person is a lot more wealthy than you think. They just choose to look poor because they don't want the attention that, say, someone that's rich and wealthy might get. And so they go out of their way to not gain attention, right? They go out of their way in order to stay low key about the amount of money they have. But it's working. And guess why it's working? Because your perception is that this person is poor, is broke, doesn't have any money. It's working. Perception is reality. This person understands that. The person online that puts himself out there as super rich, they understand that perception is reality. Whether it's actually real obtained wealth or not, they understand that perception is reality. Anyway, I really do hope you all enjoyed this video. I tell you, it really feels good out here. I could literally stay out here all day. And I'm so glad that we're out of the time where it's 100 degrees every day. Because here in Houston, July and August, it gets brutally hot. Let me tell you, if right now I was recording this video in July or August, oh, my face would be pouring in sweat right now. Like, I would literally be just covered in sweat right now if it was July or August at 11:30 in the morning. It would be ridiculous, but no sweat on my face. It's November the 30th. We're going into December. Man, this year went by fast, I tell you. And so, yeah. I have some cloud cover here, and again, I'm gonna make more of these videos outside, especially now that we actually have good weather. We have drier, cooler air moving in. With that drier, cooler air, you usually don't have to worry about mosquitoes, because last time, man, it was rough. All the mosquitoes and stuff. I was trying to make this video one time, and it was just ridiculous with the mosquitoes. But now that we have cooler air and drier air, I won't have to worry about that. But I'm gonna bring this video to a close. We're pretty much at the 25-minute mark. I really, really thank you all for watching. I appreciate the support from each and every one of you all, and I really hope that you enjoy your weekend.